Hey guys, RJ McCollum here, creator of Hector, and in this quick video I'm just going to give you an overview of Hector, how I imagined it to work for me, and how I decided to set up to-dos, projects, and all of that stuff. So the screen that we're taking a look at right now is called the dashboard. When you first log into Hector, this is the screen that you're going to see. Now, this is the whole reason that I built Hector, because what I wanted was to see all of my projects and all of my to-dos in one place. I didn't want to have to filter by what team or what person I was working with. I wanted to be able to see everything in one place, and that's exactly what you're going to get in the dashboard of Hector. So you can see on the left-hand side, we have our navigation, which is pretty straightforward, projects, and you can filter your projects by different statuses. So if I only want to see upcoming projects, I can click on that, and I only see upcoming projects. Same with active, and again, same with completed. We also have a link to the to-dos, so you can just view your to-dos if you want to as well. Now you can edit your account if need be, whether that's updating your avatar, your name, your title, just by clicking on account, and you have all this information right here that you can use. So let's take a look at actually interacting and adding some content within Hector. And I'm going to start with to-dos. Now you can add to-dos from two different places. You can do it from the dashboard here. You'll see we have a new to-do link. And you can also click on to-dos and click new to-do from there. For me personally, I tend to do a lot from the dashboard, so I'm just going to do that, new to do. We're going to call this record Hector screencast. Make sure to give an overview of Hector. So you can put in a name, you can put in some notes associated with your to-do, and you can also set a due date. You just click in due date, you get this nice calendar which makes it easy to do. I'm going to set this for August 6th, and the only thing required of a to-do is actually the name. You don't have to put notes, you don't have to put a due date, but you do have to put a name. So we're going to click create to-do, and here it is. So here's our to-do. Now, what you can do is you can add files. So oftentimes, for me, a to-do is something that I get from a client that is not part of a project. So an example is I got an email to make some updates to a project that I had worked on a couple months back. It was this one simple thing to do, and it didn't require me, or I didn't need to set up a project for it. So I added it as a to-do. I put in the notes of what it needed to get done so I could get that email out of my inbox and keep track of it in Hector. Sometimes you get files, maybe it's logos or just the text. A lot of times clients send text in Word docs. You can always choose a file, and we'll just select this avatar here, open it up, and you can add a file. And so that's going to display it here. So you're going to see this in projects as well, but you can upload files to your to-dos and to your projects so you have them there, and then you can always click to download them when you need to. Alright, so when I have this to-do, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and you'll see this new to-do here. It gives you some information right off the bat. You see obviously the name of your to-do, when it's due, and you see the paperclip, which gives you a signal that there's an attachment with this. Now, from this particular screen, I can take two actions. I can complete my to-do, or I can delete it if I need to for whatever reason. So for instance, I can go in, click this check mark, and that's going to complete my to-do. Now you'll notice that it vanishes, but I can click on view completed to-dos, and here are all of them right here. So I have access to any information that I needed to if I needed to recall something. So I could click on record Hector screencast, and even though it's completed, I can come in here and still see all of my information. Now, either from the to-do screen or from my dashboard, I can click this blue plus to uncomplete this to-do. So you can see in clicking that blue plus, it brings the to-do right back here. Now this is the sample one. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this. Do you want to delete it? Yes. Alright, and so now that's deleted, took me back to my to-do screen, and there is that. So to-dos, again, are meant for those kind of one-off tasks that need to be completed, need to be kept track of, but are not necessarily a large project. So now let's take a look at projects. You can see here that I have all my projects listed, and at the bottom I can view completed projects as well. And the way that this dashboard project layout is handled is it's going to show you all of your active projects above everything else, ordered by due date, whatever is due the soonest. So you can see August 1st, August 7th, so forth and so on. If a project doesn't have a due date, then it's put at the end. After your active projects, it's going to show you all of your upcoming projects. And again, this will be sorted by due date as well, but typically, at least for me, upcoming projects don't have due dates quite yet. Now, the whole purpose of these little cards or boxes is to give you just kind of a snapshot of a project. So we can see here you'll have the name of the project, due date, status, and you can see all of the tasks, comments, attachments, and collaborators that are associated with this project. So let's go ahead and create a new one. And the first thing we're going to do is set our status. So you can do upcoming, active, or completed. We will do an active one here. We'll call this sample project because I'm very clever when it comes to names. And we have due dates as well. So we'll do due date of the 7th, and here are my notes. Now, one thing that is kind of neat about Hector is that when it comes to notes and comments, you actually have the ability to write some simple markdown. So if you need to do formatting, it's actually very easy. So for instance, let's just say we wanted to bold this here. So here are my notes. Actually, I think we need to double that. And you can do things like lists. So we can do dash list item, and so forth and so on. So you can do some markdown formatting. Now I'm going to click create, and it's going to take me to my project here. And so you can see here's the notes, list items, bolded. And in the project, there's a number of different things going on here. So it's all kind of separated into these different boxes. The first one is going to be all of your project details at a glance here. So again, we see the name of the project, the status, the due date, and then again we see tasks, comments, and attachments. From here I can edit a project or delete it. And the next thing is, if you are working with other people, you can work with anybody that is in Hector. And the way that you do this is by clicking in this box, and all you do is simply start typing their username. And it'll find their username if they exist, and you can select that and click add user. Now when you do that, you'll see that this person is now added to this project. Now what that means is this user is going to see it in their project list. So again, this was a big thing for me in Hector, is that when I work with other people, I didn't want to have to silo or click between different users in order to see projects. I still wanted to see everything in one place. So adding a user to a project allows them to interact with that project with you, but it doesn't create a whole separate area in the app where you have to go and find it. Now, if you need to delete a user, it's actually very easy. All you do is hover over the user and click the red X, and that will delete the user. And now they're no longer part of the project. They will not see it on their dashboard. For projects, a lot of times, especially if you are working on working with other people, there's going to be some sort of communication that needs to happen. And so that can be done via comments. So if I need to leave a comment here, pretty easy. You just type in the box. Here is my comment. Again, very clever with this dummy data that we're playing with. And you click add comment. So that way you can keep track of maybe a new task that needs to be added, or maybe there's a decision that needs to be made on design or anything like that. You can see who posted it, when they posted it, and if you created the comment, you can then edit or delete. Now, a big part of projects to keep things organized is breaking projects down into smaller chunks or tasks, and that's handled right here in the project view screen. So all you have to do, very much like ToDos, is let's say this project requires design. We're going to create task. It needs to be developed, so we'll do development. And you can just hit enter or create task, whatever is easier. And we'll say content. So we need to enter content for this. And we need to launch. So as you create tasks, they'll be listed here, and you can go back and edit them at any time. But just like our to-dos, you can check or complete or delete a task. So let's say for this project, design is done, so I'm going to check that off. It shows it's been completed, and again, just like to-dos, we can uncomplete it if need be. That way you can keep track of everything that needs to get done in your project in a kind of smaller, chunked out version instead of this big thing of a project. And same thing that we had for to-dos as well. You can attach files, so whether that be design files, logo proofs, or whatever it needs to be, again, content for a client, you can add those files directly into the project. Now, when I go back to the dashboard here, we're going to see right here, sample project. So again, it's filtered by due date, and you can see that there's 4 tasks, 1 comment, I'm the only person here, and that is listed there. So that's an overview of Hector, how you deal with to-dos and projects as well as how they're different. Hector is project management for freelancers built by me, a fellow freelancer. I decided to make Hector completely free because I truly think that this tool is something that every freelancer can benefit from. So if you haven't already, go to hectorapp.com and sign up for free and get started managing your projects and working with the other people already within Hector.